Greetings one and all, welcome to Lore of the Cards, the series that looks to uncover the lore hidden in your Hearthstone deck. Last time we covered a whole bunch of cards looking at the demons of the Warlock's deck. Today we come to the series' second legendary, narrowly beating out the Sunwalker, to be covered in today's episode. The gift that keeps on giving to a mage opponent, the mighty Millhouse Manastorm. The art of the card is by Jim Nelson, a Chicago-based fantasy artist, a man who hasn't written a biography on his official site, so finding stuff out about him is a little more tricky. Damn you, Jim. He has produced works for Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and has also made art for books as well, like the Practical Guide to Fairies. For Blizzard, he has created an abundance of work for the old World of Warcraft trading card game, and in amongst these pieces are several lore characters. Archimonde the Defiler, who used to be one of the most powerful demons in the Burning Legion before his death. The Ogre Mage Cho'Gall, leader of the old warmongering Horde's Twilight Hammer clan. Nelson has depicted Cho'Gall as he was before being corrupted by the evil old god, Cthulhu. Nelson has also penned the Goblin racial leader, Trade Prince Gallywix, as he appears in-game. This character recently went through a visual update in art to make him stand apart from other goblins, it would seem. Whether this is ever implemented in-game, we'll see. And of course, Mr. Nelson was given the honour of painting a portrait of the magnificent, the mighty, the masterful Millhouse Manastorm. The miniature Milhouse is a gnome mage, a race that possesses some of the greatest inventors in all the Alliance. During the Second War with the Orcish Horde and the Third War fought against the unstoppable undead Scourge, the gnomes provided the Alliance with their most advanced machinery and intricate weaponry. Against the orcs, their well-constructed flying machines were used to scout their adversaries and bring back important intel, while their submarines skimmed the bottom of the oceans, sinking many a horde ship while remaining undetected. To deal with the Scourge gargoyles in the Third War, the flying machines were fitted with guns to blast the overgrown rats from the sky, and bombs to lay waste to the undead ground forces. Their siege tanks were also put to use to try and stop the Scourge from summoning the leader of the Burning Legion's armies, Archimonde. While the tanks blasted through as many Scourge structures as possible, they could not destroy them fast enough to prevent Archimonde's arrival. With Archimonde present, he swiftly destroyed the city of Dalaran, which housed the most powerful mages of the Alliance, which the Alliance had been desperately defending at the time. Gnomes seek to unravel the scientific laws of the universe. When inventing, they will often spend more time planning their inventions than building it, and after its creation will continue to tinker with their work to further modify and improve it. As a result, gnomish inventions tend to be a lot more reliable than the inventions of their goblin rivals. They apply this same methodical approach to the ways of magic as well. The gnome's great intellect allows them to cast spells for a prolonged period of time, represented in World of Warcraft with a 5% increase to their base mana. Their careful study of the arcane has meant that gnomes have built up a slight resistance to the magic school, and are able to wield the magic with great skill. However, because of their intelligence, gnomes can be prone to arrogance, a characteristic that can be amplified by the use of arcane magic, as the school, when handled without care, can slowly corrupt the user. This heightened arrogance is extremely prevalent in Millhouse Manastorm, a mage who constantly boasts about his limitless power when he could quite easily be swatted aside by great mages such as Roma, Jaina Proudmoore and Khadgar. Players of World of Warcraft were first introduced to this miniature mage in the Burning Crusade expansion during the last encounter of the Arcatraz instance. The Arcatraz was one of the vessels used by the Naru to reach Outland. The race of sentient energy beings came to the Shattered World to aid the races of Azeroth to thwart the efforts of the Burning Legion, as Outland was being used by the Legion as a key strategic battlefront. When most of the Naru disembarked from their ships, Prince Kael'Thas and his Blood Elves, under the leadership of Illidan's Stormrage, seized the ships for themselves. Kael and his brethren overpowered the single Naru Muru who remained with the ships, and sent him back to the Blood Elf capital of Silvermoon, where the noble being was drained of his power to allow the Blood Elves to wield the Holy Light. The Arcatraz was used as a prison ship. The vessel contained agents of the corrupted Black Dragonflight, horrors of the Twisting Nether, forces of the Burning Legion, and even servants to Azeroth's old gods, the primordial rulers of Azeroth, before they were defeated and imprisoned by the metal-skinned Titans. It is unknown as to why or when Millhouse Manastorm stowed himself away on the Arcatraz. He was certainly not captured by the Naru, since he was not as powerful or threatening as the other prisoners aboard the ship. He just appears to have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. It is possible that Manastorm climbed aboard the ship through curiosity, wanting to discover more about the Naru's great knowledge of the arcane to further his power as a mage. While Milhouse was stowed away on the Arcatraz, all hell broke loose. Warden Melika had been dispatched by Kael'Thas to ensure that the creatures of the Arcatraz stayed under lock and key. However, one of the beings forced into slumber by the Naru still had enough power to manipulate Melika through his sleep. The insectoid Kiraji, Harbinger Skyrus. Skyrus was a servant of the old gods and sought to enact his master's grand scheme of bringing all worlds to ruin. Not that Skyrus would have much work to do on Outland. From his cell, Skyrus was able to convince Melika to release the beasts of the Arcatraz, who wrought chaos across the ship. Heroes of Azeroth fought their way through the Arcatraz, subduing the inmates, but were too late to stop Melika from releasing Skyrus. The heroes fought Skyrus with the now freed, magnificent Millhouse Manastorm, and slew the colossal bug.
I have not been myself. I had to let them out. The Great One speaks to me, you see. Wait, outsiders. Kael'Thas did not send you. Good. I'll just tell the prince you released the prisoners. The Naru kept some of the most dangerous beings in existence here in these cells. Let me introduce you to another. Yes, another! Your will is mine! Behold, yet another terrifying creature of incomprehensible power!
Where in Bonzo's brass buttons am I? And who it... Oh, that is one mother of a headache.
What is this? A lowly gnome? I will do better, oh Great One.
Lowly? I don't care who you are, friend. No one refers to the mighty Millhouse Manastorm as lowly. I have no idea what goes on here, but I will gladly join your fight against this impudent imbecile. Prepare to defend yourself, cretin! I just need to get some things ready first. You guys go ahead and get started. Summon up some water. Fantastic! Next, some protective spells. Yes, now we're cooking! And of course, I'll need some mana. You guys are gonna love this! Just wait!
One final cell remains. Yes, sir. Right away!
It is a small matter to control the mind of the weak, for I bear allegiance to powers untouched by time, unmoved by fate. No force on this world or beyond harbors the strength to bend our knee. Not even the mighty Legion.
Welcome, O Great One. I am your humble servant.
Bear witness to the agent of your demise.
During this encounter, despite his arrogance, Manastorm does prove himself to be a competent mage, switching between the schools of Arcane, Fire and Frost with no problem at all. Most mages specialise in one school. After this, Milhouse faded into obscurity as players battled the Lich King in the second expansion. In the Cataclysm expansion, Milhouse made his triumphant, yet diabolical return. He was now a member of the Twilight's Hammer cult, in the service of Deathwing, the Worldbreaker. After being defeated in combat by the other dragon aspects at Blackrock Mountain, Deathwing retreated to the elemental plane of Deepholm to recover from his injuries. Deathwing was the most deadly tool of the old gods, who thrive in chaos and destruction. Not wanting to lose the most powerful weapon to the old gods, the Twilight's Hammer came to his aid, a cult which worshipped the old gods and sought the same goals as their masters. The Twilight's Hammer reinforced and added more to the armour that already covered Deathwing's body, using Elementium plate. Not only did this protect Deathwing from attackers, but they stopped the dragon's own rage from tearing his body apart. When completed, Deathwing flew back into the realm of Azeroth, shattering Deepholm's world pillar as he did. This Titan-made structure stopped the realm of Deepholm from collapsing into Azeroth. The Shaman of the Earthen Ring quickly mobilised and used their elemental powers to prevent this from happening, but this would only last so long, and they dispatched heroes to find the 3 world pillar fragments. One of these fragments was in the possession of the Forge Master, a Twilight's Hammer member who was reanimating Deathwing's blood from where the dragon had been recovering, since even the aspect of Death's blood, when reanimated, made a challenging adversary to all those who opposed the cult. When heroes came to shut down this operation, the Forge Master and the fragment were nowhere to be seen. While releasing slaves held by the Twilight's Hammer, the heroes gathered key information. The Forge Master was meeting with High Priestess Azil, a high-ranking Twilight's Hammer member.
Forge Master! I've been informed the enemy has disrupted your operations! Where is the fragment?
The fragment is now in the dragon's custody, ma'am.
Well done. Meet me inside the stone core for further instructions.
Oh, of course, ma'am. At once.
The Forge Master turned out to be none other than Millhouse Manastorm. It is suspected that he too, like Melikar, had been corrupted by the whispering of Skyris, and had joined the cult because of this. Hoping to keep the fragment safe, Milhouse had given it to the Twilight Dragon Abyssian. The dragon was later defeated and the World Pillar fragment returned to the Earthen Ring. In the Stone Core dungeon, Milhouse would be the first encounter for the players. He was now dabbling in darker magics, casting shadow bolts more commonly associated with warlocks. He runs off to the next group when reaching 50% health. Finally, Milhouse runs to a large group of Twilight's Hammer cultists and starts to cast the spell Impending Doom! Before finishing though, and after a few slip-ups during the casting, Milhouse and the cultists are knocked into a ravine by the massive Gaia worm, Corborus, a worm enslaved by Deathwing to gather the Elementium used for his armour. As he fell, Manastorm dropped a missive which detailed the plans of High Priestess Azil at the centre of the Stone Core. She was invoking a ritual to bring yet more ruin to Azeroth. The heroes ventured onwards to stop her. It was thought that Milhouse met his end in the Stone Core, but he was far more resilient than that. He later appeared in Mists of Pandaria as a rare challenger in the Brawlers Guild, a feature added in patch 5.1 to challenge PvE players, setting them up against difficult adversaries in 1v1 gladiatorial combat. In battle, Milhouse casts Frost and Shadow magic and puts down crystals that will buff him. The buff, called Power Overwhelming, gives a 5% damage increase that can stack up to 100 times. If Milhouse reaches 100 stacks, he casts his ultimate spell, Doom, which instantly kills his challenger. Milhouse only picks to fight those that he sees as a worthy challenge. There you have it, Millhouse Manastorm, a once powerful, if a little arrogant mage that became corrupted and joined the ranks of the Twilight's Hammer. After suffering an embarrassing defeat, he now fights in the Brawlers Guild to show his magical prowess. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe and share it around. Any support we get, we really appreciate. For the next episode, we have another 3 choices, 2 of which will be familiar. I'm putting them back up to the vote as people do seem to want these episodes. So, the choices are Doomhammer, Sunwalker and the Wisp. There will be a link to a poll in the description below, or let me know in the comments below. I count both poll and comment votes, so if you want 2 votes, you know what to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time for more Lore of the Cards. Bye bye.